The Legend of Zelda series is a classic collection about Link going on a journey to save the Princess of Hyrule from the evil clutches of Ganon, or Vati, or Dark Link, or Maladus, or Bellum, or Yuga Ganon, or Ganondorf, or honestly, the list goes on for quite a while, and I don't really have that much time on my hands. In accordance with the soon-to-be-released Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity game, I wanted to make some Zelda-related videos, starting with my favorite Zelda games. Whether you agree with me or not is another thing, but without further ado. Wait, spoilers, I almost forgot. The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. The grittiest of the Zelda games, Twilight Princess is a more mellow and dull title, and I don't even mean the color. And I don't really like the hefty amount of linearity in the game, but the story more than makes up for it. Ironically, being the only game on this list to take place in Hyrule, and although I don't like many of the dungeons, puzzles, or side quests, I really do like the story. From very early on, we're led to believe that the usurper king of the Twilight, Zant, is the one and only main antagonist of this game. We see him siege Hyrule Castle, nearly kill Midna, and commit many other heinous acts that cause harm to so many people. There's so much build-up to this whole Zant character fight, and then this giant magical octahedron appears around the castle. Now, many would think that it's just Zant using a far stronger magical power, but more perceptive players would realize it's very similar to the kind of barrier spells that Ganondorf would use. It later truly comes to light that Ganondorf has been up to something after we're put into a cutscene where, at the Arbiter's grounds, we see Ganondorf confronted by the 7 sages at his execution. Oh, I should also mention that he straight up disintegrates the Water Sage, so any Water Sage fans, dearly sorry. That sucks. We learn that Ganondorf was sent to the Twilight Realm and recruited Zant to take on the dirty work that he couldn't do at the time. With Zant under Ganondorf's influence, stuff goes down and we get to the Arbiter's grounds with all the Twilight Mirror Shards. We enter the Twilight Realm, take out Zant, who is an absolute pushover, which it honestly feels so true of his character. And when we all think it's over, Ganondorf comes on stage and puts up one heck of a fight, spanning 4 different phases, showing just how desperate Ganondorf is to win this fight. It's so long, but it feels like it's truly a final fight between the hero clad in green and the Gerudo King. It's such a long fight that feels so great to finally beat. And just watch this final scene, knowing that Ganondorf is finally gone, until this game comes along and ruins the entire thing because the Zelda timeline exists. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. The only Zelda game to take place on Koholint, Link's Awakening is the first non-traditional, no Hyrule, Zelda, Ganon, etc. Zelda title in the series, and it has some really dark and sad undertones. I don't fully like the map or dungeons, although the Turtle Rock dungeon is awesome. The story is great. On the island of Koholint, Link awakens, get it, and learns of these nightmares that are plaguing the sweet little island. He must fight and drive away each nightmare in the 8 different dungeons, so that he can do something? We don't honestly know why we're killing the nightmares, we just do it. Which creates this feeling of mindless slaughter, which will come up later. This owl friend helps us a little bit, giving us hints on what to do, but it's not until the journey to the 5th dungeon that we learn of our purpose in killing the nightmares. Link gets these musical instruments, which have little purpose until the owl tells us why they are needed, which is to wake up the windfish, a giant whale thing up in the giant pink egg. The owl tells us that to leave Koholint, we must awaken the windfish, but we still don't know a lot about this. It's in the southeastern ruins that we learn that Koholint is an apparition, a world inside the dream of the windfish. If we wish to leave, thereby awakening the windfish, Koholint is to fade away into nothingness, seeing as how it is a dream. Now that Link knows that to leave, he has to kill all these happy people on this island for his selfish desires, we continue to take out nightmares and then come upon the windfish. Although, make sure you do this whole trading side quest. That's so weird and unnecessary. Because it grants you the magnifying glass, the prototype, the lens of truth, and I don't understand why this is necessary. You get to see this book on a table that you couldn't see before, which tells you the path to the final fight with the Shadow Nightmares. You destroy it and you go to the windfish to awaken them, before all of Koholint fades away. We get one of the greatest quotes of all time from the Zelda series, in my opinion. Coming from the windfish, But verily, it be the nature of dreams to end. And it's so poetic and sad to hear that right before all of Koholint vanishes in an absolutely sour and gross gut punch. We pan across the island where we see each and every islander fade away. The game shoves in our face that we just obliterated, destroyed, eradicated all of these people. And it's so sad and gut-wrenching because you know you won't be able to see them again. They can only live on in your memory. We see one final cutscene where Link awakens, I get it again, on a piece of his broken ship and sees one of the friends he made on Koholint, Marin, fly away as a seagull. The wish she talked about with Link. And the windfish flies off because he has better things to do apparently, as we can only assume that Link made it back to the mainland safely. This game is thankfully the game that takes place after the Oracle games, which follows the hero of legend from A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening, so we know he gets back safely. Koholint may have been erased from existence, but we know that its memory will live on forever with Link. The game also has the best item, the Rock's Feather. The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. My favorite Zelda game and video game of all time. Majora's Mask is the darkest, best, and most personal Zelda game I have ever played. The story is fairly simple, putting you in the land of Termina to stop the devious Skull Kid from bringing down the moon on Termina. Wait, he can do that? I didn't know you could pull the moon out of orbit. That's not illogical and highly impossible. No. I don't think. We learn about how we can reverse time with the Song of Time, collect masks, and travel to dungeons to stop the moon from colliding with the Earth. The story is great, touching upon so many real-world things like loss, heartbreak, inevitability, stress, work buildup, depression, the works. This game, unlike Ocarina, has a feeling of true fear of death. There is no sage to help you, no guiding light or prophecy, nothing. You're dropped into a world that needs saving, despite the fact you don't even have to save them. You could leave at any time you want, but for plot reasons and because Link's a nice person, he decides to stay and save everyone. He travels to the 4 dungeons of Termina to fight his way through the truly amazing dungeons that have no shortages of puzzles, to fight the masked beings that are keeping the 4 giants, the protectors of Termina, in captivity. We meet these lovable characters that all have had a rough go of it, whether they're dead or in trouble. The King of Icona is honestly the best supporting character in the game, because he's so silly and expressive, but still emits an ominous and threatening aura. When he's finally beaten, he teaches you the Elegy of Emptiness, and he tells us to bring back the light to Icona that disappeared so long ago so that he and all of the ghosts that reside in Icona can finally rest in peace. With all the citizens in Termina finally saved, it's now a personal fight with Skull Kid. But wait, it was never really Skull Kid, it was the mask! Wait, the giants come to stop the moon, but Majora ain't having that. So he warps up to the moon, and what horrors wait inside there we can't even imagine because you can't. When you put on the Fierce Deity mask, it all becomes clear. Majora's just an ancient spirit, a child in a mask, a soul lost in eternity until someone delivers it from its eternal cage. When Majora's finally beaten, we get one last talk between the Skull Kid, Link, and the masked salesman. Which, why is he even here? Shouldn't he be gone? Like, why didn't he burn the mask? That makes far more sense. Why didn't you just burn the mask? The Skull Kid apologizes for his actions, and the salesman walks away, saying that all the evil from the mask has left, and that all the masks that you've collected are now filled with happiness. This game makes you earn all of the items you get in the game, and knowing that our efforts made everyone happy in the end, it's so rewarding. Also, why does the Happy Mask Salesman magically disappear? Can somebody explain that to me? Is he a ghost? Did he create this world? Why does he magically disappear? I'd like some answers.